Welcome, listeners and viewers. This is the Goal is Swole podcast, and I'm Elijah Vargas, the host. This is the show where we talk to students about sports, lifting, their lives outside of school, and their plans for the future. I have a background in lifting, running, and also wrestling. Today I'm going to be having Emma Engels come on here to talk about being the state champion in wrestling, her season so far in softball, and what it's like being the school mascot.
But then, that whole week, people were coming up, congrats. I don't know who these people are. I look like a place once, but there was a Jeep out front and it said, you should see me with my top on.
Oh! Hey guys, this is the Goal is Swole podcast. I'm Elijah Vargas. Can you introduce yourself?
State champ, Emma Engels, sophomore at Bartlett, wrestle, and softball.
Oh, that's awesome. So softball, right? You had a game yesterday?
Yeah, we did. It was against Glenbard East.
Glenbard East, are they good?
Nah. I mean, we won 16-3. We had to actually resume from Thursday because we played one inning, and then there were storms. We went and waited in the field house for 30 minutes, came back out, and then right as we were getting ready to start, they were no more storms, so we left, and then we just picked up right where we left off yesterday.
Yeah, even today the weather was so bad, right?
So random, yeah. It's just
it looked nice in the morning, and then there was snow out of nowhere. I went for a run for no reason. I was like, okay, today's leg day. I'm gonna go for a run. I need some cardio, and I would start at the beginning. It was just overcast. I'm like, okay, it'll be fine. I didn't check the weather at all. I'm like, okay, it's 40 degrees. I'll be fine. And then it started hailing, and I'm just running, right? And people are just looking around at me. I see them in their car and they're shaking their head. They're like,
yeah, did that.
This guy's an idiot.
The Dippin' Dots,
yeah.
Frapple or whatever.
It's just little pellets hitting you in the face. Okay, let's just go straight into wrestling. So was wrestling your favorite sport or your first sport?
First sport? No, it was either baseball or soccer, I think.
Soccer, okay.
Yeah.
So what initially got you into wrestling?
So Cam started, my brother, he started when he was in first grade, and I honestly was just tired of sitting at these meets and practices and not wrestling. So, because I always have to be doing something, right?
Yeah.
So then the next year I was okay, I'm just gonna do it. I was just bored.
So you started straight with Scorpions? Was your dad a coach?
He coached, I want to say my second year. So
Okay.
Cam's third year, my second year. I think is when he started coaching.
Okay, I think I get it. Yeah. Do you remember? So from then, what was do you remember your first win?
Yeah. So my first season, I didn't have a lot of wins. Maybe 5. It wasn't a lot. And we were actually on our overnight trip that we take every year, and we were in Wisconsin. And my dad actually wasn't there. He was ice fishing. So it was just my mom and my grandpa was in town. And it was a pin, actually. I think my first pin and my first
Oh, that's
win.
cool.
And my dad was all upset because he didn't see it. So the next week, I was super superstitious about things. So I was like, you can't come. And hid under a table. And then I found him and waved at him. But yeah, that was my first one.
I think that's the funny thing about athletes. They get have certain superstitious with meals. Do you have that with meals?
With meals, yeah. So there's not really superstition to do well. It's just before weigh-in day, we always eat eggs, just because
yeah.
Scrambled eggs, and just be especially my brother, he just eat 5 of them easy and just lose a bunch of weight.
Yeah.
So it was more just make weight, but that's the day before it's eggs.
Yeah, so I ran cross country, and one of the things that a lot of people eat are they're called sports beans. I don't know if you know what those are. So they're little Jelly Belly, what are those called?
Jelly beans?
Yeah, they're just jelly beans,
yeah.
But they have a small amount of caffeine in them.
Okay.
So you just eat them before you do your sport, and then you're just energized.
Does Jelly Bean does that company make them?
Yeah.
Are they good? They taste the same?
Kind of. They have a lemon lime flavor. They have a few other flavors I'm not really sure of. I think it was I had another one. I don't remember what it was, but it was a pomegranate chew, and it's just gummies.
Yeah.
You eat those. I had those before a match once. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think those superstitions are just funny because So what made you got that first win, right? So what made you decide to keep wrestling? Because there's probably a lot of losses in between and losses before.
Bad. So I don't even know. My dad just told me this story not that long ago, but they were going to sign up, and at this point for Scorpions, they had signed up at like a Raiders football game or whatever, right? And they were going to sign Cam up, and apparently they didn't sign me up, and I don't remember this. It's like, and I was like, no, I want to do it, so they signed me up too. So I don't know what made me like want to keep doing it, but I did.
I think that it's a good trait to like not like finish what you started, like persistence, stuff like that. Because I'm a martial artist, and I hear like the same thing, like persistence, keep doing what you're doing. I think I was talking to G about that in the last podcast.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that.
Yeah. So what's like your ultimate goal
with wrestling?
Yeah.
I don't know. At this point, I think not really going to wrestle in college just because we talked about it's freestyle. But I don't know. I've been kind of considering some different things, like maybe do softball and stop wrestling. So I don't really have like an ultimate goal.
Yeah.
More just take it season by season and meet by meet.
Because you already reached like you already reached almost everyone's goal, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy.
Didn't win conference. I was gonna.
Yeah. So she's a sophomore, and she made it to state, and she won state. That's kind of crazy. I want to say that. What's the difference between like wrestling boys and wrestling girls?
So typically boys are stronger. And they usually have more weight on them. Well, obviously, right? Like, I don't know. It's puberty is what it is, whatever. But like wrestling for boys, right? I'm like 106. Like that's the weight, but I only weigh like 100 or something.
Yeah.
So they do have a couple more pounds on me, but definitely like the strength factor.
Yeah. Isn't there a 98 class?
For freshmen, yeah.
Oh, for freshmen. So that's only freshmen?
Yeah.
Okay. I remember Ryan Ritchie wrestling that.
Yeah, that's what I wrestled at St. Pat's Trinity last year that I won.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Wow, that's interesting. My freshman year, when I went there, I had a scab on my shoulder.
Oh,
so
yeah,
we drove, yeah. Yeah. We drove all the way out, like an hour away, and then I had a scab on my shoulder. They're like, you can't wrestle because I do skin checks. And I was like, man, that really just sucked.
Yeah.
So last year you made it to state still, right? You made it to state.
Yeah,
how was that experience?
It was a lot of fun. Honestly, my goal that year was just qualify. Like, it was the first year, right? I'm a freshman. It was the first year for IHSA girls state, though. Like, that was the first one. So it was the first one for all these girls who were in high school, regardless of their age. But it was just like, oh, let's just see what this is. Like, I had some pretty tough seniors in my bracket that year. And obviously, Cassiope was in my bracket that year. But, like, once we made it, it was just like, okay, well, this is pretty successful. Like, let's just build from here. Like, you're a freshman, like, you qualify, right?
Yeah.
It is what it is, so... It was fun though.
I think that's pretty crazy. Like going to state your freshman year.
Yeah.
That's something to brag about. Did that experience your freshman year which was last year? Did that experience like affect this year's like journey to state?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like obviously last year I came up one match short of medaling because I was top 8 and they only medaled the top 6. So obviously this year I knew like okay, well I have to win one more match and I would have medaled. And then, like, this girl I beat in the first round the freshman year, she ended up medaling that year, and I didn't. I was like, I beat you. So that kind of bothered me. So, yeah. And then I was like, I knew what to expect going into it. Like, I wasn't like, whoa, this is, like, I just say state. Like, no, I knew what it was.
Yeah, that's a good thing. So, can you just... Because I've never won state, and I want to know, like... A lot of people probably want to know how that feels to win state. Can you like explain that feeling?
Obviously, everyone asked me that question. Like, so I got interviewed like 3 times after I won, right? And they both asked me, and this was the joke throughout like the whole tournament. It still is now. Like, the one guy goes, "How do you think your weekend went?" And I was like, "How do you think it went?" I was like, "It was good. It was good." And everyone joked like, "You just said it." And it was like that was the joke. Like they asked me how it was. I was like, "It was good. It was it was what it was." And so that was kind of like the joke is like you didn't answer like you just won state. I was like, yeah, well I didn't.
Yeah, it's like now you have this title that you got to live up to. Oh, I'm the state champion, and like now everybody that's what everybody knows you as, right? Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I mean I don't have a title like that.
Yeah, like before our softball games, he'll announce, he'll go, like we do our lineup, like they'll call out the batting order and then the positions for both teams, right? And when he gets to me, he goes, "You're state champion wrestler." And like I come up to bat, he'll be like, "She won state."
That's funny.
Right.
I think it's a bit different because I don't remember who I was talking to, but they were trying to tell me that like winning state for wrestling isn't that big of a deal. I'm like, dude, wrestling is like
the hardest.
It's probably the hardest sport out there.
In high school, like
yeah,
you can actually do.
And the thing is, okay, if you win state and you're on a team, that's. But if you win state in wrestling, it's an individual sport, so that's so much of a.
And all your success is distributed to you. Like, how much did you put in for it?
Yeah, and not very many girls, I'd say, get into. Like, we only had what 5-6 girls on the team.
We did, yeah. So last year, I forget what the numbers were, but they like doubled from this year to last year for girls sectionals.
Yeah, so I mean it's pretty impressive to go to state as a girl sophomore year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So can you describe your last match?
Yeah, so I was pretty nervous before the match. No, actually, not that match. The most nervous I was before any of my matches throughout the state series was my semifinal at sectionals. I don't know why. It was this one girl, and she probably was one of the better girls I faced throughout the whole run. But that was like the most nervous. So it's championship match at state. I was talking to Angie, I was talking to G and Coach Matt. Like, I wasn't like too nervous about it, right? We kind of like, they had the mat was here, right? This is the one you wrestle on, and then it's like 6, and then there's one here, and then we were over here, so you could like warm up still while you're waiting.
Yeah.
We kind of just jogged around. Like, I didn't even want to like wrestle with Angie. I didn't like. Usually, I don't like to do that. Like, if it's right before the match, I'm like, no, I don't. I need to get into my mindset and just like focus. So then I was, walking around, right, staring her down, kind of. Just like thinking about like what I needed to do. So that was kind of like pre-match, right? And then during the match, like right before it started, I think that's when I got a little nervous. And honestly, I knew her because she beat me at Palatine over winter break.
So it's a rivalry.
It kind of was. Yeah, I mean, I know her. So a couple years ago, she actually beat Cam, like at some random tournament. And her dad is like friends with my dad. Like, they know each other. We just hear like youth tournaments and stuff. But yeah, so she beat me at Palatine over winter break. I was winning. Going to the third period, I go down. And she ended up hitting me, right? So I knew like arm bars. That was like her thing. So I knew I couldn't get in those. And we worked like all that month of like practice the armbar defense. I don't know if you remember that. But so I knew like if that happened, like hit the armbar defense, right? And I think so the second period she chose top because she knew that's what she did. That's how she beat me the first time. So she chose top. Almost actually got put in the armbar, but I think we went out of bounds. And then she tried it again. I hit the defense and it worked. So then third period I was up like 4-0 or maybe I won 4-0. So maybe I was up 2-0. I don't remember. But it was pretty close, so I didn't want to go down again. Like, we knew it was kind of risky.
Yeah.
So I went on top and rode her out. I rode her out pretty much the whole match, though. Like, beside the takedown and the reversal, it was pretty much just like a bunch of riding time.
So you won by points?
Yeah, I think it was 4-0. Because I think I took her down in the first, reversed her in the second, and then just rode her out like the rest of the match.
How common is it for people to win by pin at state or like at sectionals?
At sectionals, I'd say like the first like 2 rounds is really because like girls
they just eliminate everyone.
Yeah,
like
girls,
right?
even kind of boys, but like especially the girls sectionals, like, you see like the girls who know what they're doing, like maybe wrestled like when they were younger, and then the girls who just started in high school since it was like so new of a sport. So that really separated those girls in the first and second rounds. Like
I get what you mean, yeah.
There's such like a drop off in girls. Like you have the good girls who did like Fargo and like they wrestled boys like their whole lives, and then you have the girls who like just started in high school. Where boys, you see more like guys who wrestled their entire like
all 4 years. Yeah. Yeah. Like me, people like me, like. Yeah. We wrestle all 4 years, but we still suck compared to like.
You go up against another guy. He's probably wrestled since he was like 5.
Yeah. That's the thing.
Where girls, it's like there's only a couple that have like actually done that.
Yeah. That's an interesting comparison because the girls they might have been in a club, but it's higher. There's a higher likelihood of them like not being in a club, and they just, this is like maybe their second year, or maybe they have like a background like Angie where they've been in like jiu-jitsu stuff like that.
Yeah, you definitely see that too.
Have you ever thought about jiu-jitsu?
Actually no.
No?
I don't know. Combat is like fighting and stuff. Is not really my thing actually.
That's interesting.
So that's actually how Cam got into wrestling. Is he told my dad he wanted to wrestle. And I think he meant like box.
Yeah.
I don't know, but he didn't know like the terminology.
Yeah.
So he kind of got into wrestling.
I kind of got met with that reality when I started wrestling because I went in and I'm like, okay, I've played like WWE 2K and like I never watched WWE, but I've seen clips of it and I'm like, okay, you know, they're punching this guy, they're using a chair. Okay, that sounds awesome. I want to be in that. And then they put me in this like with the straps, with the headgear on, and I'm like, this doesn't look the same. This isn't the same thing. Why am I rolling around with these boys? So after you won state, what was the journey after that in wrestling?
Okay, so immediately after, they were like, you have to go talk to these reporters, right? So I talked to like the 3 reporters. And finally, my mom was like, hug me, so I did. She's like, I had to talk to these people. It is what it is. Yeah, you stay, get your bracket, whatever. Then we went out to eat. My grandparents were in from Arizona. They came in to watch. And then G Squared, Angie, like we all went out to this place. It was like, I'm not gonna say, but it did not look like a place we wanted to be. There was a Jeep out front and it said, you should see me with my top off.
Oh, okay.
I took a picture of it. It was so funny. But we went inside, like, this is like not like an appropriate place, right? Like neon lights, like not neon lights, but like it was dark. But it was actually really good.
Yeah.
So we did that, and then obviously we were trying to text the brawl and stuff to do the police escort when we got back.
Oh, that was cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So we got back to Barley, we met him at like the Jewel or whatever, and then the fire guys and the police guys drove us to the high school. Some of my teammates, Scorpion family, some of them were there. Some of the wrestlers.
Yeah.
So I got like some candy, some flowers, a lot of flowers, balloons, and then like some posters. And that was that. And then obviously at school, not the next day. It was like it wasn't Monday. I think it was Tuesday. We did the march like down the hallway.
Yeah.
And G goes, he gives me the baseball belt. He's like, hold the belt. I was like, G, it's a baseball belt. He's like, I don't care, it's a belt. And I had one of my friends, she was carrying my bracket. So we did that. And then obviously G, when we got to the cafeteria, he had the screen or whatever with like highlights of,
that's cool.
of sectionals and state and stuff. It was pretty cool. So everyone was kind of around there watching that. And I think he might have made like a little speech about me or something. And then like that whole like week at school, like the first day they made like an announcement about it. But then like that whole week, like people were coming up like, congrats. I was like, I don't know who these people are. and then obviously a couple weeks ago, when they were doing the auto stuff at the U46 board meetings.
Yeah.
That one day they had me come in and they gave me this like achievement award, like of excellence.
That's cool.
Yeah, and so the superintendent lady and like some other people gave it to me and then like stood me up in front of the board and like some of the bar, like guy Majik was there.
Yeah.
About autos.
I was there.
Yeah, you were there.
I wasn't inside the room though.
Oh, so there's some auto guys there and then they stood me up and like in between sections.
Oh, is that why G was there?
Was he there? No, he wasn't there. No, yeah, he was.
I was like, why is...
Yeah, that probably was why he was. I didn't think he was.
When I went there, they had us all in a room, and then they had a screen, like, on the other side, where we were just, like, watching the board meeting, and then they called a few of us down to go speak to the board, and then I just see G's beanie and his bald head.
Oh, yeah. I think he was there, actually.
I was like, why is he there?
Yeah, it's
I didn't understand.
Yeah. But yeah, Brawl was there. I think G was there. I don't really remember, actually. So we did that, and I didn't even want to be there because we came right from a game. I changed the car, and then I was actually going to miss the Scorpion board meeting, or not board meeting, banquet. So we hustled back over to Bartlett to get to that, like see the end of it. But that was pretty much. And then obviously now it's softball and stuff.
Yeah.
Then they did the newspaper article. And then softball and stuff, this be like state champ, you know.
How does it feel to have like all that attention?
Oh.
Is that like a lot of pressure?
Sometimes, yeah. Like I definitely feel it in softball sometimes because like I'm supposed to be like not good. Like softball's the thing I want to do in college, right? So then it's like, well, is this really like I did this in wrestling, but in softball, you know, I'm struggling. It's like kind of questioning things, right? But
so let's get into softball then. So. I'm assuming you're good at softball if that's what you want to do as your career.
I don't know. I mean, I say I'm pretty good at it.
So when did you start playing softball then?
So I actually didn't start playing softball until like 6th grade, but I played baseball like t-ball to 5th grade. Or
so that's longer than wrestling.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so you got that good at wrestling that quickly, and then softball you've been doing for a while.
Yeah.
You're on varsity.
Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty crazy. I remember for like track and stuff, I didn't make it until like softball.
It's different with softball now, especially.
Yeah.
It's like you travel softball and then you have
Are there a lot of girls on the team?
No, so we only have like 10 varsity girls and like 10 JV girls, and it's like there's a big split. It's like girls who like play travel and girls who like it's a pretty big it was pretty clear cut like who was gonna go where. We definitely don't have a very big program.
How does I mean, I've never played like baseball or softball or whatever, but how do the teams work? Is it like you have a lot of people? Is that like is 10 a lot? 10's not a lot, is it?
10's not a lot, no, because you
not
only
at
play
all?
9. So usually I'd say you have like 12. High school you probably have like 13, 15 maybe. Baseball's like different too because then you have like POs, the guys who like just pitch.
Yeah.
In baseball especially, like softball you can throw like multiple days in a row like without like having a lot of arm issues, or baseball like big arm issue thing, right? So you only pitch like one day out of like 5 games, right?
Yeah.
So I definitely think baseball you have like more guys on your roster because you need more pitching. Where softball you can kind of get away with like 2 or 3 pitchers. But yeah, we definitely don't have the like amount we should.
What's like your favorite part of softball? What do you enjoy about it?
I would say, that's actually probably just like hanging out with the team and stuff, like the good chemistry you have.
Yeah, like the
being
social.
on the field, having fun with your teammates and stuff.
Yeah, so it's there's nothing like specific about the game like hitting or like because I know a lot of people like the hitting or the running stuff like that.
A lot of people do like hitting. It's actually one of our bigger conversations. I'm not a big fan of hitting, but no, actually I think I like fielding and base running really.
Okay, that's funny. I saw I don't remember who reposted. Was it Valeria?
Maybe.
Who had like there's like an Instagram page that's just like softball.
Oh yeah.
And you just appear like every other.
All over that page.
It's so funny.
There was one. So the first post was like me flexing. There was one of me watching the storms.
Yeah.
Then randomly one day, the girl who runs it like posted this whole thing. It was like 5 pictures of just me, and it said just like the caption was "State Champ."
State Champ.
But yeah, every caption is like "State Champ" this, or if like I'm in it.
Yeah.
I'm all over it, so it's kind of like a nickname now.
Yeah, that's funny.
Like the other day, like our game got canceled Thursday. We're gonna resume Friday, right? It was a picture of me on the bleachers in the field house, and it said "State Champs ready to resume tomorrow."
Oh my gosh!
I'm all over the Instagram page.
I'm not a state champ, but like when I'm walking through school, when I'm like walking in the hallways, people are like, "Dude, it's Elijah Vargas from the Goal is Swole podcast." I'm like, "Yeah, that's me."
No, yeah, it's like that.
But like, what's your name? But like, what's your name? I don't know. I've never met you before.
Right. No, yeah, it's like the same thing.
But I'm not good at wrestling. So, you were telling me before this about how you were the mascot for football.
Yeah. So Brawl made like an announcement, or Dima, whoever made an announcement, like we're looking for a mascot for the football season, right?
Yeah.
And one of my friends was like, "You should do it." I was like, "Guys, should I do this?" So like, should I go for it? So me and my friend, I don't know if you know her, Addie.
I think of
team.
Yeah, I know her.
So me and her go down to Brawl's office, and we're like, "We want to do this." I was like, "I want to do it." Okay. So he gives me the costume, I put it on. It was like a brand new costume, so like they got a new one. I was like, "Oh, it's pretty nice. It doesn't smell."
Yeah.
So we go in the hallway, and we're like in the gym hall, like during the school day. Like walking around with these big old, like the feet are like 5 times bigger than like my actual feet. Like you have to like walk like a scuba diver.
Yeah, because they're like duck or.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. And then so that's how we actually got into it. And then he's like, so it's in the football games. Oh, it was actually for the mascot race. There's supposed to be like a race at Streamwood, like the first game. It's supposed to be like our mascot against the Streamwood mascot. And then there was this other girl who wanted to be the mascot for us. And then Brawl's like, well, we have 2 costumes. So we're going to hack the race, and we're going to put one of you at the end and just, like, switch so they don't see it.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know how he's going to do this. It was, like, on the football field. I was kind of confused. But the day of the actual game, the race, me and my mom were late because there was like an accident right in front of the school. So we didn't even get to the start of the race on time. And then the other girl didn't show up either. So their AD just raced their mascot. But then after that, bro, I was like, hey, do you want to do the home games? And I was like, sure, why not? So I do those. And then I just go to the varsity games. I get there when they start, and then they take me into the building, like on the golf cart. I change, come back out. And then I would usually stay till about halftime. And then, because I wanted to like be able to enjoy the game a little bit too.
Yeah, I get that.
And it's just kind of, by halftime, you've seen mostly everybody and stuff, so it got kind of, not boring, but just like, okay, let's move on. So then I go back, halftime, come back. Sometimes I would just go home after that. Sometimes I would just stay and watch games with my friends. And then like the one game I went down to like the band section and messed around with some of those guys. And then Holloway got mad at me because I like played a drum. He's like, what are you doing? And then they asked me to do some of the basketball games, but like with wrestling and stuff. I get that. Nor I was like, I'm good, thanks. But I did do like the U46. I think they're called the Blue Stars, and it's like their Special Olympics like basketball team. They're actually good. I think they like went to state, maybe even got second or something.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. So I got to like practice with them. But they actually made me like pass and shoot and like do drills, and I was like, guys, I cannot do this. Like, I've got these like gloves on, like it won't grip, can't like walk, and then the costume's like super hot because it's like fur.
Yeah,
so it's pretty
I get that.
I was like drenched in sweat. Like after every game too, like I would go in like shorts and a t-shirt, and every like the cold games, everyone's like stocking hats and blankets and 3 hoodies, and I'm like in shorts and a t-shirt. Like, what's wrong with you? I was like, oh, nothing. And it's just the cold doesn't. I'm inside this costume. Yeah, it's like I come out and I look like I took a shower. Which it was nice though, because it's like at least I'm not cold.
So I think it was last year. My friend Drew Kalani. I don't know if he's I don't know if he's watching this or not. But he was the mascot last year. I think it was for like the whole year. And yeah, I was talking to him because I was really like thinking about being the mascot, but then I was like, okay, but I'm in cross country, and then I don't know how Sir Luco's gonna be.
It was definitely leg workout, like to walk.
Yeah,
like, the way you had to walk, like with your heels, like
yeah.
It's like a different walk.
See, my thing was like a lot of times we'd have stuff like on Friday because for cross country we had pasta parties. I talked about this in a previous episode where we like carb overload, and then it's every Friday. So I was like, I'm gonna miss like every one of those parties, or I'm gonna miss like every football game. So I gotta make a decision. Or so some of those Fridays I even worked. I went to work. And I was like, okay, I gotta kind of make a decision. I don't remember if I think I did end up emailing Brawl and asking him, but he never got back to me.
Oh yeah, so I would like most of the time kind of just like walk back and forth in the bleachers. Like I didn't really feel comfortable going up to the bleachers with the students really. But like Vooks kids would always be there, and like some of like the other like Bartlett Raiders, like they were really interested, like little kids, right? Yeah. And then like high school students would always come up and like try to look inside like the island, and then they'd always ask me questions about like, who are you? Do we know you? And just kind of annoying. So yeah, that brings up a question. So what's like the level of secrecy? Who could you tell who you are? Like your family? Yeah, I could have told anybody I wanted to. It's kind of just my own thing. Like Brawl wasn't like, don't tell anybody. In fact, I think he was the one who actually gave it away. Like he told the newspaper lady like she was the mascot, and then she was the one who actually asked me about it in the interview, and she put it in the article. As like for the state champion one, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the one that she wrote. I think it was the Trib one. It's like the breaking the stereotype one or whatever. So she asked me about that because I think Brawl told her. But most of my friends knew about it because I like told them. Yeah. And then I think some people just kind of like figured it out, like the band kids. The band kids. Like you'd see me like get on the cart and go to the building. Yeah. Come back with now there's a hawk, and then like leave, and then I'd come back. Yeah. It's like if you actually paid attention, you'd figure it out. Peter Parker type shit. Right. And only show up after halftime in the stands. Yeah. Really figure it out. But. Yeah. So let's kind of shift into softball again. How has the season been going? Actually pretty well. Because I think we're a good team, but what makes us like a really good team is our chemistry. Like we all get along so well. Yeah. And it's just like last year we had a couple. I don't know how to say this, but we had a couple seniors, and like they just kind of made things a little tenser. Yeah. But this year we're all kind of like loose, and having 10 girls, I think it makes it easier because we're all like a tight, smaller group. But I think we only have one or two losses. We lost to Prospect early in the season. It was a horrendous game. We did not play well. And then we lost a tight game to South Elgin last week or 2 weeks ago. I think we can beat them. We play them May 1st, actually, at the Rosemont, like the professional field in Rosemont at 7. So it'd be like a night game, so it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
But so we're doing pretty well, though. We beat West Chicago, who won conference last year. We played them again this Thursday. So we've been having a pretty good season.
Yeah, there's somebody that I had on Snap, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, we're gonna play Bartlett next week. We're gonna play Bartlett tomorrow or something like that." And she's like, "How good are they?" I'm like, "Oh, I don't know. Do you know anybody that's playing on the team?" I'm like, "Okay, I know like Emma." That's the only person I know, and I don't know. I think she goes to like Larkin or Lake Park. I don't remember.
Yeah. So I actually know a lot of the Larkin girls, right? Because I live in Elgin.
Yeah.
And they're like our rivals right now.
Really?
Besides South Elgin, because like last year we went 1-1 with them. Okay. And then this year we beat them 11-0 in the first conference game. Okay. Then we go to this like Larkin Slugfest. It's like a tournament. Okay. It's like I think we played 3 games, and then it like depends on how if you win, right? Like a wrestling tournament. If you win, you play a different team. If you lose, you play this other team. And we beat Jacobs in our first game, and then we have to play Larkin in our second game. And they put everything they had in this game into beating us. And we lost like 5-3 or 3-. It was close, but they beat us. And they got so excited. Like it's like this doesn't count toward conference standings. Like they got so hyped about it. They put everything they had into beating us. And then they did. But we play them again next week, I think. It was like, and it was the second day, and it was on a Saturday. It was like that one Saturday. It was like 80 degrees out.
Oh yeah, I remember that day.
So hot. And we only have we have 2 pitchers, but like really only like one like actual like pitcher. So we started the second girl, and then we had to bring the first girl back in, but she pitched like the whole first game. So she was hot, she was tired, she was like a little sore. It's like you didn't even get us as a fresh team. Like when we were fresh, we beat you 11-0. So we gotta. On
like the hottest day of the year so far.
So that game will be a little interesting when we play them again.
Yeah.
Salty. We're like South Elgin, like we get along with them. It's not like we have like beef.
Yeah.
We want to beef.
And you're closer to them, right? So like you guys are already like kind of friends.
Yeah, like everyone always talks about that with like wrestling and stuff. Like where's like Coach Man, like G, they're all like we have to beat South Elgin. Like, and then there's like me, Gura, like all these guys like know this South. Like we were hanging out in the conference.
That's the funny thing.
Our rivals, like no, they're our friends.
Yeah.
We get along. It's just like it's some more the coaches now.
Yeah. I find it so funny when the coaches like I don't remember Gardone. He's talking about I hate South Elgin. I love Gardone. Gardone's like Gardone's. I hate South Elgin. Like he's like promoting like the rivalry, but like like I love Gardone, but like I thought it was so funny because like he's been working here for like a year or so, and it's like
no, but like any sport, they're always like we have to be South Elgin.
Yeah.
Every sport. The Bartlett girls all know the South Elgin.
Yeah, and it's like we're so close to them, and especially in wrestling, you know, we talk to like
most of the South Elgin guys were also the Scorpions.
Like,
they all came up in the same club.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I'd be sitting in like the bleachers during a wrestling tournament or whatever, and like some of our parents are cheering for their school, and I'm like. He's wrestling one of our guys. Yeah. It's like chill out.
Even the South Elgin guy that beat me at conference, like even like his dad and my dad, like they know each other. Like he came and went to Scorpion practice to help Cam get ready for state.
Yeah.
The week after my state, like we picked them up. It's like they're not like.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You wrestled boys at conference, and you came in second place. Yeah, we were talking about that with. Oh, I was talking to Dom about that in my first episode, and he's like, "What? How? She's like a sophomore, right? Or a freshman?"
It's the Elgin kid. I don't know. I beat him, but like that match, like for some reason that every time I wrestled the Elgin kid, it was like twice this year.
Yeah.
And it's just like always like a tough match, and I could never figure out why. Like I always just felt gassed. I'm like, this guy's not that good. What am I doing?
Yeah. Girl also lost to an Elgin kid, right?
Yeah.
Man, he was talking about. I got him.
Me on his episode. So.
Yeah.
He beat that kid earlier.
That's what he was talking about. Yeah.
He knows it too. His dad said it too. He's like, you thought you were gonna beat him. He knew what you were gonna do, and you didn't change.
So
you should have beat him.
I felt so bad, but at the same time, it's like girl was like talking.
Kind of
girl was talking shit. Okay,
he was.
Like he always talks shit, but it's like.
Does. But he knew like the whole week he was talking about like, oh, I got Fabian again. Like, oh, I'm gonna beat him. Like, I'm gonna be conference champ. Like the whole week he's like already conference champ. Like, you haven't beat him yet. Like, he's gonna beat you.
Yeah.
I told him that all week. I was like, he's gonna beat you. I was like, no, he's not. I was like, he's gonna beat you. Just watch. And then when he did, he beat him.
That's so funny. Yeah. Oh my gosh. We were at when we went to regionals. He's just getting messages from Fabian, right? And it's just like, look at our regionals.
Oh, their regional was so easy.
Like
the U46 schools in like Schaumburg, and then ours is like us, and then like the top 5 schools in like.
Ours was horrible.
So bad. Like,
we got
there was
slaughtered.
Guys in our regional who would have placed at state, but didn't even qualify.
We got slaughtered. We all got out like first round, except for me and Gura. Wait, no, everyone got out first round. I think except for Gura.
Yeah. And
then I went and I won my second match in like the consolation bracket. And so it was just me and Gura. We were the only 2 people that had wins.
Well, yeah, because like Kyvan, like that would have been more of like a
Kyvan's coming later.
Injury, yeah. Oh, you're gonna get. Oh yeah, he was talking about that in the group chat.
That'll be a good episode, hopefully.
He's fun.
Interesting case. So this is a Go Swell podcast, so we got to talk a little about lifting. So, how often do you lift?
So right now during softball, not that often, because we usually play like every day or we have practice. Like it just doesn't like work out. So right now, Saturday.
Just Saturday?
Well, because Cam's at tournaments on Saturday. Yeah. And if we don't play like today, I'll do it. But during the summer, probably like 3-4 times. Week. Not
a week. Yeah, I was like hold on.
No, yeah. I can only go too much, but like.
So,
that's what I did last summer.
how was lifting for wrestling? You did that during summer, obviously, right?
Yeah. Obviously during the season. Like, stuff.
Yeah, I remember I'd be like, I'd be wrestling with the guys, and like you'd be you and some other girls would be like benching and stuff, and I'm like, dang, they're like lifting more than some of the freshmen. Like, it's kind of crazy.
No, actually. I wasn't in G's strength and performance class to start the semester. So I'm in health right now, but first semester, I wasn't in his class. And then it was 8th period, and I had Andrews for team sports. And G, like, I don't know if he emailed me or said something to me, but he's like, why aren't you in my class? I was like, I don't know. So I emailed my counselor, and then he didn't, like, get back to me in time. So I go to 8th period, and then I go up where I'm supposed to sit for Andrews' class. And then G calls me over. And he's like, Emma. I was like, what? He's like, come here. So I leave in the middle of Andrew's speech to go over to G's class to find out I've been accepted to his class. And after attendance, right? It was just attendance, right? Because it was like the first, like, second day or whatever. Andrew comes up to me and he's like, you don't leave when I'm talking. I was like, G called me. He's like, oh, I didn't hear that.
That's so funny.
Yeah. So then I was in his class, like, that semester.
It's like a conflict of interest when, like,
his class.
When, like, two adult figures tell you to do something, but they're, like, 2 different things, and you're like, I'm in the middle. I don't know what to do.
No, because I didn't know I got switched to his class because my counselor didn't email me back like before I left or check my email or whatever. So I didn't like realize it like.
Yeah. So I think it was. So I went to work on Thursday, and I work at a martial arts school. I think I told you this.
Yeah.
And one of the masters, he's a 5th degree, was giving a speech about how like. We should like all the students should like greet us when they come in to show respect and stuff like that. And as he's giving this speech, I see the grandmaster towards the back of the school, and he's like motioning me to like look to my right. I'm like, okay. And so I look to my right and I see this kid. He just walked in and he didn't have his belt, so I got to tie his belt. So I start walking over to him, and the other master who's somewhere over there, he's like, Don't move. He's still talking. I'm like, but the grandmaster told me to do something. I'm like, but I didn't say that right away. So he was just like, okay, I'm just gonna stand here. I'm just gonna stand here and wait until he's done.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like sometimes you're told told to do something by two different people, and you're not sure which one to like listen to.
Like Mulhern and Coach Matt. Like everything they say is complete opposite.
They contradict each other.
Coach Matt like knows about it. Like they get like that. Like I think Mulhern does it on purpose sometimes.
Yeah.
Like they just push each other's buttons.
It gets kind of annoying because like who do I listen? Okay, I'm just gonna listen to the person with more experience, or I'll just listen to whatever the person said to do first.
Yeah, like no offense to G, but like if Coach Matt tells me to do something that G said not to do, like I know Coach Matt has more experience.
Yeah.
I'm gonna listen to him.
Yeah.
And there's no offense to G or anything.
It's hard to like differentiate.
Right.
Like if you're really like if you can think about it like quickly, you might be able to decide, but. I'm normally just caught in the middle and I'm kind of clueless.
Yeah. No, that's what I like about like wrestling compared to like softball. Though. Like wrestling, there's no time to think. Like you're constantly you have to
spontaneous.
Like, you just do it. Or softball is like a complete mental game. Like you have to like you get a strike on you, whatever. Like it's so mental, and then like you're just in the field, like you're waiting for a ball to come, and then you have to hope, like okay, now the ball's here. Like I
gotta be ready, right?
Yeah, and there's just so much waiting around. Like
you're
waiting for your turn to bat. You're waiting to get a ball in the field. Or wrestling, it's like you still wait around to like actually wrestle. But you know when you're gonna wrestle.
Yeah.
And you know you're gonna wrestle that entire time. It's not like okay, when's the next ball gonna come?
Yeah, and it's completely opposite to like. I mean, I'd kind of say that cross country is kind of similar, where like.
Well, yeah, because just you and your son.
You just. But before that, you're literally just waiting. You're waiting. Yeah. Okay, girls are running. Okay, girls varsity's running. Okay, boys freshmen are running. Boys JV is running.
Yeah.
Okay, finally varsity. Time to go. And it's like I've been waiting all day.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I just like sleep, or like I go for a warm up, and then and then you finally run, and it's just like you against you, because a lot of times when you just try to like go out in the front at the beginning of the race, you're just screwed.
Yeah.
It's the worst way to do it. So yeah, back in the softball, what do your practices kind of look like? Like what? I know you said you didn't really lift, but what like exercises, workouts do you do?
So like for like lifting, what do I do for softball?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. Honestly, just whatever is on the. I think like goblet, like split squats, are really good for like your hips and stuff.
Yeah. Is that like moving your hips when you're batting, or is it
you
like
definitely have to use your hips
or like just the running part?
No, definitely batting. Like your hips.
Batting. Okay.
You bat.
That's interesting.
There's so much to think about, like softball though. Like there's like.
Yeah.
So much. Like, and definitely think about your mechanics more. Like wrestling, like yeah, you take a shot, like you have to step right, but like so much less to like. You have to like turn the corner.
Yeah.
But like softball's like okay, you have to think about your load, your hands, your swing, your finish. You know, your feet, like it's just so much more to think about.
It's way more like
technical, I would say.
Yeah, well, I think the workouts have to be more like what's the word? Like you have to narrow them down to a specific region. Yeah. Because with wrestling it's like it's a full body workout, you know what I mean? Yeah. So with softball it's like, okay, this is what I'm doing. This is
right. But a lot of it's like not even your strength. Like I've seen like tiny guys be able to throw really hard.
Yeah.
Like, small guys be able to hit really. Like it's more just your mechanics than anything.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter how big your arm is or how strong you are. You could throw really slow.
There's a degree of talent.
Yeah. Yeah, talent and more just like your mechanics.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I want to end this with what's your advice with either like life, wrestling, lifting, or?
Alright, so I've been thinking. Well, it was actually the one day we were playing pickleball. I don't know, it was just what I was thinking about. And it was just like, are you living your life like this is your last day, right? Like, if you died tomorrow, would you be happy with the way you lived your last day? And then, like, would your future self appreciate what you're doing now as like in high school? Like, are you doing what you're supposed to be doing to benefit yourself in the future? And then, like, as your future self, right, say you have a job or whatever, would your past self, like, appreciate what you're doing right now? Like, would he appreciate, you know, like, would he appreciate the job you're doing? Like, is this what he would have wanted or she would have wanted, right? Just like, if this is your last day of living, live it to the fullest, right? You never know.
Yeah, I get what you mean. It's kind of like, you kind of have like a degree of responsibility for like your future self, and
right,
like
yeah, especially at this age, like everything you do is going to impact your future. Like if you're not doing good in high school right now, like you're not going to get a good job.
Yeah, like like just what was it yesterday when 2 people got arrested at our school, and it's like, okay, you just graduated, like
right, like you're already
is that really something like you want to?
Less than half your life. Like
yeah,
you graduate and you're 18. If this is half your life, like you're what 40 or something like that.
Yeah,
it's less than half your life.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I've been thinking about it a lot, and like when I go to college, I know that there's gonna be a lot of people that are just like gonna go out partying and stuff, and that's I mean, I used to kind of like I mean I'm not a big party guy,
no,
but
to
like
some degree you want to go hang out with your friends.
Yeah, just it's good to be social, but
yeah.
I mean at the same time I want to like build myself up to the point where like especially like during my 20s, I want to be like I want to have a good foundation.
Yeah, you want to be productive. Right?
Yeah.
You know, what's the saying? Like you have to something about building the foundation for a house or whatever.
Yeah. I forgot what that was. I know what you're talking about though. But yeah, I think it's important to, especially during those years when like everyone's partying, you can get a good head start.
Your 20s you can take a big advantage if you're dedicated to it.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. I like what you said there.
But then you have the advantage over them too, because then you can retire earlier if you start earlier, and they're still like in their 60s and they're like still working, and you're like, the retirement life is great.
Yeah.
I tried to tell you when you were 20, like stop.
I have this weird like, I've said this to a lot of people where like I see everybody's like life goal is to retire, but I don't think they understand that like, if your life goal is to retire, why don't you want to retire as early as possible?
Right.
Like, I don't understand why people have to...
Yeah. Like, Coach Matt brags all the time about how he got to retire at such a young age.
Yeah. That's like the coolest thing.
Yeah.
Like, my grandparents both retired really young, and they've been going camping, like, for almost, I don't know how long, my whole life. Wow. They've just been, like, going around in their camper around the whole country, and they're just, like, living life.
Yeah, like look at these professional athletes. Like they worked really hard when they were young to get to that spot.
Yeah.
And now like they get to retire when they're like 40.
Yeah, and that's awesome.
And they have a lot of money.
Yeah.
You have to dedicate yourself.
That's the thing. I think that's professional athletes kind of have it easy because, I mean they're already like famous. But that's the thing. You gotta like find your way.
When they're in high school, they're not famous. They work just as hard as you could have.
Yeah, you gotta find a way to. Because we live in an attention economy, I've noticed. So you've got to find a way to get attention, like you being state champion. You got to find a way to like get that attention, and then find a way to like monetize it in some way, like I'm trying to do with this.
Yeah, like influencers, like they get paid based off like how popular they are.
So yeah, like if you can get like a lot of attention, it doesn't matter. You could be. I bring this up to like a lot of my friends. You can get attention from like something stupid, like like the Island Boys. This is the example that I use. They were stupid. They were they were just like doing a freestyle, and it was just like the worst freestyle anyone ever heard. But like people were making fun of it, and it went viral. And then like they were making like millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, they can retire like tomorrow if they wanted to. They put no work into that, but like
it's like even brands like Nike, like they can overcharge so much, but they know like you're gonna buy it because you want to buy the brand because the brand is popular. Or if it's just like some new brand, you don't know if it's like you buy a brand like and you want to wear it because like, oh, I have Nike.
Yeah.
Gives you some popularity too.
Yeah, I think that's crazy. I think that's a good place to end it though.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you guys for listening to this episode of the Goal is Full podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to drop a like. And if you want to stay up to date on any future episodes, make sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications because next week we're going to be having Kyle B. Lean Lewis, and he's going to talk to us about staying in shape and lifting.